So hi everyone, hi back, or hi if you just joined. So thanks for joining us this morning for this webinar, which will talk about the place of GIS in the business apps and in BI in general, and how it helps to get new actionable insights in a very few times. So the agenda for today. First, we will discuss a bit about GIS and BI and where are the current states. Then we are going to jump into why it is important to leverage GIS and BI together into your business apps and what insights and what value it can bring. And then we will jump into what I think is the most important for you, the product demonstration in itself. So I'm Vincent de Chandon, product manager working at Galigeo. And this morning we will be joined as well by Mohammad Ahmoud, which is working in one of our partners, which is Katib Alami. So Mohammad will talk a little bit later about what he's doing with Katib Alami and how they have implemented Galigeo into some of their customers. To help bring GIS and BI together. But we will discuss that later. So just a quick introduction. I don't know if you realize that, but in our daily life, we are all used to use applications which are mostly powered by location data, and that makes them powerful. And why are we doing that? It's because it makes our life easier. So, for example, you probably already use Uber. You watch forecast, weather forecast every day. You probably rent already something on Airbnb, etc. And all the strengths of this application is that based on your location, it helps to deliver a better experience, and it makes it easier for you to get stuff done. For example, if you take Uber, you know exactly what are the drivers that are nearby you, in how many times they are going to reach you, etc., etc. And so it's really important, and we are used to live with that every day. So when you are at work, you could expect to have the same. But the problem is that accessing and leveraging this location data is far from being as mainstream it is in our daily lives. So, for example, you can have business users that will be coming to IT and that will ask for some needs, like he needs to see the KPIs by customer locations, by territories, or he needs to design marketing territories. He needs to manage incidents, etc., etc. And so he needs an application in order to fulfill his requirement and to do his works. And the problem is that the BI and the data analysts on themselves won't be able to access location data, or not as easily as they would to, or they are just not experienced enough to create meaningful maps because the tools that are given to them are too complex to use, or they just lack the capabilities they need. So on one hand, you have that. So you have a person that works with data, but that miss this location component. And on the other part, you have the GIS team, which on their side have limited access to the operational data. And most of the time, the tools they use don't really have the sharing capabilities that you could expect. And especially when you look at the BI and data analysts, which have most of the time really powerful sharing capabilities to share their work, etc. This is not the case for GIS users. And myself, I come from the GIS world, so sometimes what the feeling they have is that the work that they do is not valued enough because it's not widespread enough into in the enterprise ecosystem. And so you have a problem because you can either create application but without location data, and you will miss a lot of things, a lot of insights, etc. using that, and it will not fulfill all the business user requirements. And on the other hand, you have the GIS users that do really great stuff with maps, but the work they do is not shared enough across the enterprise. And this is caused by what we call the silo effect. And this is because there is really a lack of communication and a lack of interoperability between the BI tools and the app tools and everything related to GIS. So the concept of location intelligence, you probably already heard about it, is when you bring together operational data and location data. And there you have just the quick definition that was given by Gartner. And so it's really the concept of bringing GIS and BI together, in order to get new insights, because you will be able to combine everything that is stored within your BI data and your operational data, if we can say it like that. And on the other hand, all the work that is going to be done by the GIS team, etc., will be reused and reusable by the business users, which is really important. So, as I've mentioned, you have GIS in one hand, you have BI in the other place, and you can create a bridge between the two. And this is what Galigeo, us Galigeo are making in order to make life easier for the users. So the pros of creating this bridge is a faster time to insights. Because as you can leverage location data directly with your operational data, it will be easier to see what you want. It will help you to unveil proximity, relationship, data trends, etc., that lies only in the spatial dimension contained in your data, and that you are not able to see when you are using, I would say, standard charts, etc. It will improve a lot the user experience because they don't have to seek information in the GIS in one hand, in the BI apps in the other hand, etc. It will also help into the communication because everything will be centralized in the same place. And so it helps to get faster return of investment with all the tools that the company has, and also a faster time to actions, because you will be able to get all the insights from the same place. So there, bridge, to answer all the strategic question, it's a bit a summary of what I've said just before. You have the geodata on one hand, the data on the other hand, and you can bring that all together. So you can create interoperability, because, for example, with what you have done in Esri, if you have been defining custom territories, if you have been creating, I would say, a really specific layer of information with contextual data, like socioeconomic, demographic, etc. And on the other hand, you have your operational data. I would say the bridge between the two is their spatial dimension, is their location dimension, and the fact that they can be overlaid on the same place. And so you can bring that together using Galigeo. So you can plug your Salesforce data, SAP data, etc. directly within your GIS system. So this is for all this reason that we have been developing location intelligence products for many years right now that are geared for every business. So the product we have created are smart, meaning that it requires the minimum configuration in order to work. It is self-service because the user we target are not especially specifically the GIS user, but more the business users that will be able to leverage all the work that the GIS team has done. And so this person are not, I would say, really experienced with GIS. So the tool is self-service. It's feature-rich, of course. So you can get features from your GIS server directly, and it's enhanced by the features that we bring into the product. And one of the most important is that we are data agnostic, and we are able to do data mashup to let you blend any type of data. So as I was mentioning, operational data, geographic data sources like S3 server, exogenous data on the same place directly. And so it helps also to reduce the data duplication that is done most of the time because, for example, the GIS team is going to duplicate data from operational systems to import it into their data, etc. So this is not needed anymore. So just two quick customer stories before we jump into the product demonstration. So one of our customers is the Department of Urban Planning of Abu Dhabi. And so they use Galigeo to manage the properties they have in Abu Dhabi. And the main use case are to allocate room for students and also to detect illegal occupancies. And so the solution they have is that they have bring into Galigeo all the real estate and energy consumption data that they have in their operational systems. And they have blended with the contextual data they have from their S3 server. And so they have blended that together in the Galigeo environment. And so it helps them to exactly get the insights they want regarding their use cases. And so what it helped to improve the occupancy rate and also to better detect the illegal occupancies. The other one, Infrabel. So Infrabel is the owner of the Belgian railway network, so a really big company. And so they were struggling with the maintenance operation. They were not able to correctly prioritize that. And so they are using Galigeo. On one hand, they have the operational data from their Oracle systems. And on the other hand, they have a GIS stack which is composed of Hexagon Spatial, S3, etc. But it's not really important. I would say that the technology is not that what is the most important. What the most important is that they are able to bring that together using the Galigeo solution. And so all the work that the GIS team is doing can be reused by the business users. And for example, by the team that is managing the operation of everything, which is maintenance, incidents, etc., etc. And so what it helps for them, it helps them to reduce the downtimes on the network, which of course is really important. If like me, you take the train every day, you know what it is. It helps also to reduce the operation time. So before that, sometimes they were sending someone on a part of the network to do work, and then they were bringing him into the complete other side to fix an incident. And now they were able to reduce this time because they were able to prioritize more efficiently based on the distance between all the different incidents, the maintenance operations that were planned, etc. They were able to rationalize that in order to reduce the time they spent on the road between each incident and the time they spent fixing the incidents. And I was talking about also data duplication. This is exactly the case right there. They were able to rationalize the information system costs because they were able to remove all the data duplication they have been doing because they were duplicating data to put data in GIS and also to duplicate data sometimes from GIS directly within their business application by exporting that, etc., etc. Okay, so as I've mentioned, we build solutions for business and the partners we have. It helps also to deliver the value, and it's really important for us because we are a company that is working worldwide with customers all over the world, and the fact that our customers know that we have partners that are able to deliver the values of our solution is really important. And this is why today we have invited one of our main partner, so Khatib Ben Alami, which is one of our main partner for Middle East, and Mohamed is going to present a little bit more about what Khatib Ben Alami is doing and what they can bring to you as well. So Mohamed, it's up to you.
Good morning. Thank you. Thanks so much for this introduction. I'm Mohammed Hamoud. I'm the account manager in Khatib Alami. For those of you who don't know about KNA, we are engineering and consulting firm. As per ENR, which is the Bible of engineering, we are ranked in the top 50 international design firms worldwide. In 2018, we were ranking 46. And in 2017, we were number 40. Okay, please can we go to the next slide? In terms of location, in terms of GIS, we're the first and only ESRI Platinum partner in the Middle East and Africa. It's a very prestigious partnership, along with our partnership with Galigeo, of course. We're the first in MEA region, one of the third in Europe and Middle East and Africa, and one of the 14 worldwide platinum partner with ESRI. For those of you who don't know ESRI is the global GIS provider, having maybe more than 50 or 60% of the global market share in this business. Our base is in Beirut. We are present in more than 40 offices in the Middle East, in Africa, in US, in Malaysia, and also we have office, I think, in Europe. So we're pretty much global. We're more than 6,000 employees between different departments, ranging from architecture, engineering, mechanical, and GIS, which will I present also on this next slide. So what we do, we're into consulting, engineering. We have different departments, from architecture and planning to infrastructure, energy, project and program management services, and of course the GIS, or we call it GSI, Geospatial Systems Integration, where we provide GIS-based application, location-based application, geospatial services, and this is where we're working together with Galigeo. We are focusing in different verticals: governmental, municipalities, public safety, and commercial. As you can see, the list is huge. We have more than 300 projects successfully implemented related to GIS. For the services range from roadmap and strategy development, analysis and design, database modeling, solution design and development, cloud hybrid-based managed services, capacity building, training, operation and maintenance. So it's the complete life cycle of project or any location-based project. And our goal is to introduce location in every decision, whether it is the upper management, executive, CEO, CIO, IT professionals, knowledgeable workers, technical team, GIS analysts, and of course policymakers or the stakeholders that would affect any business. So it's applying the geography or location to every decision within any enterprise. So I will handle again the call to Galigeo team, to Vincent.
Yeah, thanks, Mohammed. Thanks for this introduction of who is Khatib Alami. And if you want to learn more about what you could do with Khatib Alami and Galigeo, there will be all our contacts at the end of the webinar. So right now we are going to jump into the product demonstration, which is most of the time what you like the most in webinars, and of course this is what is I would say the most interesting part. So I'm going to try to demonstrate two use cases there. So let me jump right now. Okay, classic expired session. So right now we are going just to see a quick use case there about something in retail, which is a revenue and growth analysis, which leverage some ESRI data. So if you recognize the environment, this is SAP Business Objects. And so this is one of the environments from where you can use Galigeo. And we'll talk a little bit about that after the demonstration. But just so you know that if you have Business Object, you can directly use Galigeo from Business Object. If you have IBM Cognos, it's the same. And other different BI tools from here, you can leverage Galigeo. So let me just hide that. There you have a map. So this map is the Galigeo map. You have classic charts at the right. And so there, what you have is data directly coming from your BI. So in your BI, let's say that you have different stores. And for these stores, you have different KPIs, etc. So you can map that directly, really easily by doing drag and drop on the map. So the way it works is that once you have fed the data on the map, there you can just go here and do drag and drop. And for example, let's say you want to see your net margin. You just drag there, hop, and then you have the layers that has appeared, that has been created right there. So if I hide my other layer, you see that it has created a thematic, an information layer, a layer of information, sorry. And that it helps you already to start getting insights on the map, etc. So you can zoom, you can pan, everything I would say basic that you would expect from a map application. But this faculty of creating, I would say, a layer of information based on your operational data, as easy as you can do in Galigeo by just doing drag and drop. You see one drag and drop and you have something between your hands. Is really powerful, and most of the time the business users they really like it because it's really easy for them. So you have everything like legend, etc., etc. You have search bar to search for addresses, etc. You have the possibility to, of course, edit the way the layer look like, because there it has been automatically created. But you could switch to a heat map, for example, just by clicking on one button. You could play with the radius. Let me zoom out a bit, etc., to know exactly where you have the best net margin. If you have too much point, you can also clusterize them on the fly just by clicking there on the clusterize button. You could click and then it would expand, etc., etc., until you reach your stores. So you also see that you can reach the street levels directly there by zooming in, etc. If you click on something on the map, you have all the details that comes directly from your data. So if something is modified on your data side, it will be automatically there modified in the map view of Galigeo. I've talked, of course, about Esri. What you would like to do there is say, okay, I have my Esri server, and on my Esri, I know that the Esri team, what they have done is that they have computed a new KPI, which is I would say an indicator of how much tourists I can have in different regions. And for me, it is interesting to know that, because it could help me to align my marketing strategy, my sales strategy based on the number of tourists, or their age, etc., etc. But this information is within the GIS system. I do not have access to it from my operational data. But I still want to bring it and to overlay that with my operational data. So the way to do that, let me just pull up my favorite right there. I have connected to my GIS server. As you can see, if you know Esri, you will recognize that. So there, this is just the definition of an Esri service right here. So you can just copy it there. And if I go back there to Galigeo, you will see how easy it is to import it. I'm just going into the configuration part. I'm just going there. I'm just entering the URL there. I have copied from the S3 systems. I just click on add layer, and automatically the layer is added. So I can just save and close. And you see that right now I'm seeing the layers from Esri displayed right here. And so there, I would say the redder it is, the more tourists I'm supposed to have. And so, of course, this is what you would expect. So it is in Abu Dhabi, in Lebanon, in Cairo, etc., etc. But you saw how easy it is to leverage something that comes from a GIS systems directly within Galigeo, embedded in the BI systems. So that means that all the business users that are going to connect and to make analysis, to use analysis like this, they will be able to leverage stuff from the GIS systems. And so there, what is really interesting is that you blend something that are, I would say, from the BI in one hand and from the GIS in the other hand, and that can only blend it together because they are spatially aligned, because there is no joint between dimensions on one hand or the other hand, etc. This is only done on the fly by Galigeo. And of course, you could create, based on this layer you have imported, there the KPI comes from Esri directly, so you cannot modify it here because it comes from the GIS system. But you could reuse I would say the region boundaries to create your own layers and blend it with BI data. And so to do that, there you could just create a new layer and say, okay, I want to create a class breaks, which would be based on this layer I have imported from Esri. So this is this one, aggregated region. Singing a bit there. And choose, for example, the revenue. So if I want to see the revenue by the region I have imported, there you can modify the symbols, the colors, the breaks, the opacity of the layers, if you want to add the labels or not, etc. And when you are done, you can just click on Save. And there, if I just add, you see that it has added me the KPI on these different regions, which is really cool, because as you have seen, you can use Esri to directly import something from Esri with the KPI directly, etc. But you can, or I would say, also use the polygons, the points, or the lines from the Esri systems and blend KPI from your BI data directly using Galigeo. So what is really cool is that, and I'm talking a lot about Esri, but it works with any other GIS systems. If you have open source systems, it works as well, etc. So we are compliant with OGC. So everything that is WMS, WFS, etc. is also working. And it's really easy to use, as you have been able to see. And so when you are done and when you are, I would say, fine with the way that your map is looking like and which information you would like to see, you can switch to the other tab, like the selection one. And there you can say, okay, I want to, so let me just, before that, let me just remove the cluster. It will be a bit easier to see. So there I'm selecting, for example, my net margin layer, and there I have different options to make selections. So I could make selection based on ISO distance and say, okay, extract me all the stores that are within a 100 kilometers radius, for example. And if you click somewhere on the map, it's going to generate you this radius and to select you all the shops. If I zoom in a bit, all the shops that are within this radius, and then you have information about all the stores, etc., etc. You can export that to CSV if you would like to import it into another tool. Or you could do even more. You could also use you could also use drive time, and there it's also cool if you have a GIS system, because most of the time the GIS system is offering you this kind of features like drive time, computing a drive area, etc. And so you can either you can plug your GIS service to this Galigeo feature, and so when you use it in Galigeo, it's behind the scene using the GIS features that is sending back the response to Galigeo, and then you see the results on the map, which is also really cool because it's also another option to leverage GIS features directly within business applications. And you have really a lot of options. I'm not going to present all of them right in this webinar because it would take way too long, but you have also base maps. So as you see, you have some Esri base maps. You can import, of course, your own base maps if you want to. If you have, for example, your own base maps, this is mostly the case, for example, with all our customers working in the oil and gas industry, in the energy industry, etc. They have different pipelines, etc., and they have their own base maps for that, so they can import them using Galigeo, and it works the same like I've shown. It's just a URL to pass somewhere, so it's really easy to use. You have all the printing capabilities. You can create time slider to see all the data evolves across time, etc. And as you have seen, the tool is really self-service, and our main goal was to let the users and most of the time the business users to leverage the operational data which they are used to work with on one hand, and on the other hand also to be able to work with location data coming from GIS systems and created by GIS team, but with ease, without requiring complex work, etc., etc. So there we were seeing one of the main the Galigeo map embedded within a BI system, but you can also create directly. How to say that? You can also create, I would say, application on their own that are not necessarily, I would say, using another system in order to work. And exactly the same, there you have an application which shows you the different maintenance operations that are planned with clusters, etc. And all the lines, everything that you see is also coming from Esri. So all I would say the geographic repository is created within Esri and is brought into this application and combined with BI data on the fly by Galigeo. And so you have all the type of interaction that are possible. When you have a map like this, you can, for example, say, okay, there I only want to see the data for March. You can just click on March, and it's going to refresh the map and the other map there as well. And so you can create interactions, of course, between the map, between your geodata on the map, with other components, like any other components, and especially when you are embedded within a BI tools, you can create interactions between the Galigeo maps and the different other components from these BI tools. And it's just not just the map in itself in one place and other stuff around. Everything is part of a whole. And it's not just the map itself, it's the map and everything that is around, like filtering capabilities, bidirectional capabilities, etc. That are really important. And there, if I unfilter, I could say, no, I only want to see this type of roads and click. So there it's on Lebanon, and say, okay, I want to zoom deeper and go directly into this incident. And there you have all the details, of course, there that comes directly from your operational systems. And so this is the kind of applications that our customers are using. And what they really, really like is this capability of using GIS and BI data on the same place, but without requiring to be an expert in GIS. And this is really what is really important for them. Okay, so I'm going to jump back in the PowerPoint right now. We have 5 minutes left before the end of the webinar, and then we are going to jump into some questions after a few slides. So let me jump back here. So as I was already mentioning during the demonstration, we have one common core technology, and this technology can be embedded everywhere. As you can see there, you have the technology. You can use it as a standalone tool, which is a web-based applications where you can create your own application, as we have seen. You can embed it within SAP BI, which I've shown directly in business objects, but you can also embed it within IBM Cognos, within Salesforce, and you even have an API that lets you embed the work you do with Galigeo where you want. If you have custom portals, if you have custom BI applications, or if you have specific BI applications that are not necessarily widespread to the market, then you can use the Galigeo API to integrate it within this tool. It works on mobile, so it's responsive, and it's available either on the cloud or on-premise. Of course, what is the most important for us and for Khatib Alami as well is that we have a lot of customers that trust us for years right now. And that use our products to solve their different location-related issues. So you see a lot right there. You see that we are not industry-focused and industry-specific. So we have telco, we have real estate, we have retail, we have energy, transportations, public transport, etc., etc. So no matter from which, I would say, vertical you come from, the Galigeo product fits your needs, because with all the capabilities you will have, it will let you, I would say, create what you want with the product. And it's not appearing in the slides, but we have also a lot of technology partners like Esri. So you saw that Khatib Alami is a platinum partner with Esri, and from our hand we are a gold partner with Esri. We have also a partnership with SAP. We are partners of Salesforce. We are a partner for IBM, etc. to ensure that when we embed our product into their solutions, it's 100% compliant with what the customer is expecting. Okay, so if you want to go further, we can get in touch. You see our mails right there. You see our websites. And so right now, and I think here we have a few minutes left, we can directly go to the questions. If you have some questions, I don't know, Benjamin, do you have already some question? I did not have time to check them during the webinar.
Hi everyone. Yes, Vincent, indeed we do have some questions from the people connected. First one, will the Esri consumption of your software, I'm guessing Galigeo, cause some extra costs with the Esri environment? Yeah, so this is a really good question. So the answer is no. And after that, it really depends on how you want to use the Galigeo software. So what Galigeo does is it is connecting to your Esri system to retrieve data, etc., etc. But the data in itself stays in the Esri environment. So, for example, if your Esri is protected by secure services which require login and password, then of course you will have to enter your login and password in Galigeo in order to be able to use Esri. If you have only one license in Esri, then you will have only one user that will be able to get data from Esri using Galigeo. And then it's up to you to make sure that what you have in Esri is aligned with your needs when it's used through Galigeo. But at not any moment, so there is no moment where Galigeo is going to get data from Esri and store them and store them within the Galigeo environment. So everything stays in Esri. So my answer would be no. There is no extra cost in using Galigeo, but it's up to you to make sure that you are on track regarding licensing and compliance, etc. When you use Esri through Galigeo. Thank you, Vincent. Another one, I think that you kind of answered this, but is someone saying that he doesn't have any BI tool, but that he could be interested with leveraging location intelligence. How would you proceed if you didn't have any BI environment?
Yeah, so that's a good question. If I just come back here to these slides, this is the standalone web-based part right there. So as I have mentioned, and perhaps this is also what we have the best known for, is our capacities to embed our product within SAP, within IBM, And this is where I would say there have been a lot of buzz for years regarding Galigeo. But we do also have a standalone web-based solution. So you can also directly deploy that. So I would say it's just something that you are going to install on the server side. And then instead of connecting your data to SAP and then feed the Galigeo maps in an SAP system, you will directly plug your data to Galigeo. And in this case, Galigeo will be, I would say, your BI tools. And this is within Galigeo that you are going to make all the work of connecting the data, etc., which would not be the case if you were embedded within SAP. But all the solutions are possible, and it really depends on the use case and what the customers want to do. But yeah, the answer is yes, you can directly use Galigeo on its own, and you have access to all the features. So there is no features that are specific to SAP environment or to IBM. You can connect to GIS the same way, no matter if you are embedded within another system or if you are using the standalone version of Galigeo.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. And another one that's interesting that might require some extensive answer. So maybe just a quick answer, and then we'll get back to the people asking it. Does your product support some scripting, and more precisely, machine learning and/or artificial intelligence?
Yeah, so it's yeah, this is a really interesting question. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to give I would say a complete answer just there in a few minutes because we are running late already. So the capacity of scripting, I don't know. It really depends on what you expect in terms of scripting. So there are possibilities of customization of the application of Galigeo in order to modify some parts, etc., to create, for example, dynamic filtering, etc. But after that, I don't exactly know what you expect really in terms of machine learning, artificial.
I think that the question might be around automatically behind conditioning the tool, but let's just say that it can, and we'll get back to
Sure.
this. I would say.
Yes. So there are possibilities to do, for example, to send a mail when a KPI is reaching this level, etc. But yeah, okay. I think it's better to take that offline. Yeah.
Okay. A question about printing reports. Can I print the report with the map, and how do I choose what is displayed?
Yeah. So you can print the map exactly. So you can print it in PDF. You can print that in PNG, so in image formats, etc. And what is going to be shown is what you currently show on the map. So the layers that are activated, the ones that are hidden are not going to be printed, etc. And in terms of printing capabilities, you have the possibility to customize templates in order, for example, to put your logo. If you have a company, you have a logo, you want the logo to appear on the top right of the map, then you can modify your template in order to every time you're going to print a map, the logo will be on the top right. And you can also customize the place of the legend, etc., etc. So you will have capabilities of doing a real print, I would say, systems using Galigeo. And you can even do that in batch and say every night it's going to print me the map and send it to my email. So every morning I have the map with the data of yesterday. This is something that is possible.
Okay, thank you. And one last question maybe is around, I would say, a custom shapefile. Apparently you said that you can bring some custom shapefile in the product, but can you design some? Can you create your own shapefile? Can you create some maybe territories and design within the Galigeo product?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing that I want to say is that we talked a lot about GIS systems, but the tool in itself of Galigeo, it does not require a GIS system to work. If you do not have S3, if you do not have something else, GeoServer, anything, you can still use Galigeo and all the features. And instead of getting data from S3, you can directly import shapefiles that you would have downloaded on the internet. So shapefile is just a static file containing geodata. You can import it in the product and use it exactly like it was coming from a GIS system. So this is I would say the first thing I wanted to say. And the other one is, yes, we have, I would say, a tool within our main tool, which is called Territory Manager. And that lets you design and create your own territories based on some KPIs, on some measures, etc. And to give you a concrete example, you have salespeople all across the country, and you want to make sure that when one is leaving, another one is coming, etc., that the territories that they work on is correctly designed, and that they are not going to cannibalize themselves because they work on the same place, etc. And then you can design these territories really efficiently, because you will have access to all the KPI, and you will have, I would say, recommendations of what you should do, on how many territories you should create for the number of sales people you have, etc. And so this tool is called Galigeo. It's called Territory Manager. So I would say it's really a cool tool, and it could be just one webinar for this tool, because it's really complete and really cool. But just so you know that we have this kind of possibilities, yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Vincent. I think that's about it for our time today.
Yep.
So thank you very much for explaining all of this. Thank you to Khatib and Alami and to Mohammed for joining us and explaining the type of partnership we can have, and how we can deliver some powerful, I would say, proximity to our client through our partners locally based. So if you have any question, you can contact us. You have our contact information with this webinar, either Khatib Alami or either Galigeo and Vincent. I mean, everyone is at your disposal, so feel free to do it. And thank you everyone for your attention.
Thanks everyone. Have a nice day.